Alright, I know I might be late doing this, but excuse me, y'all. I'm black. So a nigga gonna be late. Anyways, let's get into it. Samurai Jack, A Battle Through Time. Let's talk about it, people. The story was just like the same as the show. Aku comes through while Jack's trying to just be the hero, fucks everything up. Basically, just say that. But it has a twist to it, which kind of like threw me off. I thought it was gonna be the same shit. Well, technically, it was the same, but with a twist, I guess. It starts from the last episode from the show and then just goes to Aku doing some bullshit and fucks everything up for my boy Jack. Aku! So now Jack just has to relive everything he's been through from season 1 all the way to the last season, which is great for a nostalgia trip for the fans who's just been there since day 1. Or if you never finished the show, I recommend you go back and watch it. Or you could just play the game and you'll kind of get the same result. Now, first thing, I'm going to talk about the graphics. I'm going to get the little stuff out the way. The graphics for the game aren't bad. They remind me of a PS2 action-adventure platformer like Jak and Daxter. But the game looks good. Adult Swim Games actually did good with making this game look good and polished. With everything in the background, I liked how it went from a 2D to a 3D on some parts. Good job, Adult Swim. You did good. Another thing Adult Swim gets perfect with this game is they bring back the recurring voice actors and they do a good job at voicing their characters. But one thing I think they should have did, I don't know if they were just lazy or anything, they should have just had them play the voices throughout the whole game, because you'll see the characters in mid game and you'll talk to them, but then you'll just see subtitles. I feel like voice acting should have been involved right there. Now let's talk about the combat and the other features and mechanics of this game. The combat for Samurai Jack is what makes the game fun for me. Jack just had an arsenal of weapons, from his iconic magic sword, the staffs, throwables, guns, and even just many more weapons. You can unlock weapons 2 different ways. You can either buy them from one of the NPCs in the game, or some of the NPCs will just give them to you as you progress on in the game. Or you can fight as you fight enemies. There was an upgrade in the game where you just take it from them and you can just keep them in your inventory, which I thought was cool. One thing I didn't like about the combat was when a weapon broke on you in mid-combat. So it will cause me to pause the game, just go to the menu and scroll just to find a whole nother weapon to replace that one with, which I thought could have been handled much easier and more fluid if they thought of something easier, just to, instead of slowing me down in the game and I have to do all that. Now Jack has 3 different skill trees and they are in depth and was surprisingly big. They had a lot of upgrades with these 3 different trees. I didn't get to unlock all of them by the end of the game, but I think I unlocked enough. But to unlock most of them, you have to have certain gems, which was like kind of hard to find. And I don't know, I think that's just being a little stingy with some of the skills, because I didn't feel like I didn't feel ready for like the final battle after all that. I felt a little underwhelmed. I should have been full potential Jack by the end of the game, but hey, you get what you get. These skill trees focused on new abilities to fight. They provided more space to carry more weapons and also unlock new combos as you go. There were also these charms that you can also buy, and these charms will help you reduce damage that you took from enemies or increase the damage that you dealt to enemies. Another little attention to detail was when you were in the middle of combat and you start getting damaged, you will start seeing Jack getting damaged and his robe start ripping apart, and I thought that was a cool detail. So shout out again to Adult Swim for paying attention to that. Honestly, the game was easy when it first started out, but as it progressed on, I felt like it got a little harder, and I was playing on normal. I had some trouble with some of the bosses. These boss fights, man, they are a little challenging. There was one boss fight I got tired of because I just kept finding the same boss, and them bosses that you'll fight and then they'll just run away. I hated that shit. I was like, yo, when am I gonna kill this asshole, man? Now to go on to my final thoughts of the game. Samurai Jack: A Battle Through Time is a good game that I feel like a lot of people will sleep on. It's not even a AAA title game, I think, yet it has a good quality game feel to it. It's just fun to play and leaves fans with a good nostalgia feel. Honestly, it's probably one of my top games I played this year. Also, the game's only $40, and for a game like this, I felt like it was worth my $40. I'll recommend people give this game a try, and also I recommend people to go back and watch the TV show. The TV show is awesome, I'm not gonna lie. If I were to get feedback to the developers though, is instead of adding the durability mechanic, you should be able to upgrade your weapons to make them stronger or last longer, or just not have it at all. Like, that just threw me off. I just didn't like that part of the game. I like using the other weapons, but I just hated when it broke onto me in mid-game and I had to change, and it just slowed down the game for me. I had to pause the game every time and switch to this weapon. Most of the time I was using his magic sword, or I was using these hands. Like, yo, I was just using fisticuffs on most people and just taking their weapon and probably using it on them. One of the other things I thought would have been cool was being able to customize Jack in other costumes. I know most of the time we see him in robes, but I would have liked to see him as Mafia Jack, astronaut suit Jack, the party rave Jack with the baby pacifier in his mouth. I thought that would have been funny. Yo, I would have loved to kick ass like that. One of the last things I would like to see probably is gladiator mode. It will make sense because Jack's always just finding countless enemies in the middle of nowhere or like somewhere in an arena. That would have been cool. But there are other little missions after you beat the game. I haven't played them yet, but I am going to give those a try. Now, am I saying you should go out and buy the game? I'll leave that for y'all to decide. Honestly, if you're a fan of the series, you're gonna love it. If you're not, then I don't know. It's gonna be hard to adjust or get into it without knowing any of the references, the Easter eggs, or any of the characters or where the story's at. I prefer people who doesn't know anything about Jack. I prefer y'all to go back and watch the show and then come play the game. This has been my review on Samurai Jack: A Battle Through Time. If you played the game, tell me what you think about it. Or if you're a fan of Samurai Jack, tell me your favorite Jack moment in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be alerted when my new video drops. This is Mufasa Uncaged, and me and my boy Jack, we out.